Hi, welcome back to the Apprentice 1-to-1 podcast. I'm your host for this final episode of the 4-part series on inspection and testing. We've been through the inspection process, the testing process, and right at the very start, what it's all about and why we're doing it. And in this final episode, we want to kind of just briefly mention the documentation to do with inspection and testing and how it's completed. And I'm doing this myself because the other guys have got such a lot going on in their personal lives and at work. It wasn't fair to keep asking people to give time up to come and chat with me. You know, we've done this in a really short window of time. It's all been recorded in less than a week. I kind of had the idea drop into my head and put it to the guys, and they were right behind it from the start. They've given up a couple of hours of their time to come and talk with me on these podcasts, just to support me, and probably wasn't something that they had in their schedule, and they've made time to come and do it. I'm really grateful. They've given some great insight and experience, and it's just honest chat like you'd find around a canteen table up and down the country at work. We're not going to explain things at a technical level in any way beyond what your lecturers would be able to do, and some of the other real superstars on YouTube who've gone into things in a lot of detail. But we just wanted to kind of explain it in our own words, hopefully give a bit of help and advice that might help someone out who's about to go on their AM2, for example, or to know where to look, and just some real world experiences of inspection and testing, and to hopefully give apprentices the drive and determination to go into that area of the industry and complete your training. You know, that's all this has been aimed at. It's just a small little thing that we've put together in the hope that it can be of some use through National Apprenticeship Week. And thanks again to the guys for coming on. They've been a huge support to Apprentice 1-to-1 and to myself since this all started last year. They didn't have to get involved at all, and I wouldn't be giving away stuff from most of these manufacturers, if not all, if it wasn't for these guys. You know, they've got me speaking with people and opened doors that would never have probably happened if it wasn't for them. And they don't try and grasp the limelight and take the credit for things. You know, I found that they're humble people, and they're just trying to help and speak honestly. And yeah, thanks very much. It is genuinely appreciated. And I don't want to turn this into some sort of discussion on how brilliant those three guys are, but you know, they are a big part of Team Apprentice 1-to-1 as far as I'm concerned, and hopefully they will keep their involvement going as we move forward. And there is the possibility that Neil might even be employing somebody out of Apprentice 1-to-1, so fingers crossed that can happen as well. You know, it's just, they're just legends to me, and yeah, go and check them all out on their own YouTube channels. So there's Fat Sam's podcast, where he discusses mentality, and he's got a whole range of guests on there. They're not just from the electrical industry. Really worthwhile going to listen into that if you are struggling with your mental health, or you just want to develop your own knowledge and understanding of other people's mindsets. Go and check that out. There's the Bearded Spark, which is Ricky's channel, and he's got a few bits on his Vantos and some bag reviews, and I know he's got some other content coming as well. And he explained things, you know, I always find Rick's videos really entertaining and full of valuable information, so that they're well worth checking out. And Neil started up the Spark Show, and I appeared on the first episode on there where we talked about plastic consumer units and metal consumer units. And again, it's just content put together to try and help electricians based on that chat around at the canteen table in an honest and frank way, where none of us are afraid to be wrong. We often enter into debates and give our opinion on things. It's not because we're trying to be smart asses or prove the world that we know better than them. It is just to try and learn ourselves and help other people. And those podcasts are a reflection of that. And I know Neil's got some exciting content coming out on there soon, and they'll all be linked in the description to this video. But getting back to the topic at hand, and inspection and testing. So when you're completing the paperwork, it will often be on one of three things, and it'll be a minor work certificate, and on there you still have boxes to enter results for the full range of tests, and Rick mentioned the sequence of those in the last episode 3 video we recorded. So although it's a minor work certificate, you're still expected to perform tests and record results for them. You know, and again with your inspections, whilst you don't have a full schedule of inspections to tick through, there is the assumption that the relevant inspections have been made regarding the work you have done. and those certificates are relevant to the work activities you've done, not the entire installation. Whilst you can pass comment if you see something that doesn't look right, you're only responsible on that certificate for the piece of work you've carried out. And the same with an electrical installation certificate. Again, when you're filling it in, it's based on the works you've done, and you need to be very clear in the description of the works you've done to cover that. And again, with your schedule of inspections, to make sure you're not just shooting down there with a pen in super tick mode and filling everything in, because at some point, if there's an issue and you've ticked a box you shouldn't, you're going to be responsible for that. So take the time to read it. I know it's a pain in the backside because there is such a lot of boxes to go through, but be careful. Make sure ones that aren't applicable, you state as not applicable, and that the ones that are relevant that you're checking and ticking. And then when you come to record your results, work through it in a logical manner, and it kind of leads you on in the sequence of tests that you need to make. Again, Rick mentioned that in episode 3, and you just need to follow it through carefully, believe in the training you've had, and make sure you are thinking about the measurements you're seeing and that they do make sense based on the installation in front of you, and get them recorded in the relevant places. And the big one with inspection and testing is the EICRs, and usually the place people like to debate and discuss is around codes, and there is guidance available to develop your knowledge on coding. There's code breakers from NAPIT. The NIC have a similar book that you can reference. There's all sorts of debate and discussion across social media and in the forums, and electricians will always find an angle to dispute somebody else's code. That's one of the things that often puts people off from doing inspection and testing. It's the confidence to believe in their own engineering judgment and apply a code based on the regulations. And you need to remember the 3 principles of that. Is something immediately dangerous? Is something potentially dangerous? And does something need to be improved? And you can also do further investigation and even note things. Never be afraid to note something. So if you're seeing something that isn't really codable, but you think that a landlord, for example, might want to be aware of, you can pop that in there on a continuation sheet or even on the notes within the observations section. As long as you're clear in what you're actually referencing, there's absolutely no problem doing that. And again, if you're coming to the conclusion of, say, is this a C2 or a C3, go through it logically, think through it in your own mind, and apply a code you're happy with for the situation. Every single install is different, every single scenario is different, and a lot of things are pretty clear cut and fairly obvious, but the ones where we're in sort of a grey area, and there are a few, believe in your own training, your own knowledge and ability, and don't be put off from doing inspection and testing. Get those codes recorded and complete full and accurate reports, and make yourself a brilliant inspector. I mean, that's my big ethos with all of that, is just promoting the valuable contribution you can make to keeping people safe by becoming an electrical inspector. And you'll always hear me refer to them as inspectors and not testers, because we are there to verify an installation's condition for safety and continued use, and you do that by inspection and supplement it with testing. And the books that I would recommend, again, these are the current one because it's at my other recording place in my shed, but these are 2 older versions of Guidance Note 3, so red stripe, yellow stripe. You want the blue stripe if you're getting one now, and the 18th edition. It's got the full description of how you would work through inspection and testing in there. It builds on BS 7671, the wiring regs, and I recommend you get yourselves a Guidance Note 3 if you haven't already, and take a good read through it. There is loads of practical videos on YouTube from people like Artisan Electrics, Nick Bundy, David Savory. Tom Nargi's got some there as well, and if you want the technical know-how behind it all, you've got Craig O'Neill, Gary Hayes, Joe Robinson, and more, all over YouTube, where they will go into a lot of detail. And yeah, I hope that general chat around inspection and testing has been some benefit, and I realise hearing us popping up all through the week is perhaps a bit irritating and annoying to some on your YouTube notifications, but it was just an idea I had for a National Apprenticeship Week. It's not going to be a regular occurrence. Normal service will be resumed, and the videos will go back to once a week or so. I do just want to make reference again to all the competitions, so if you haven't entered yet, you need to check back through the episodes. And in episode 1 there was the TIS MFT Pro that's kindly been donated by TIS, and the questions in episode 1 that we set to get in with a chance of winning that So go and check that out and get your entry in on there. Again, on episode 2, we had another question to win 2 Ferret Wi-Fi. So we're going to pick 2 individual winners for those. It's not 2 for 1 person. And yeah, get your entries in on episode 2. Kindly donated by Super Rod. So thanks again. That's really nice to see manufacturers chucking some equipment into apprentices' hands through Little Apprentice 1-to-1. So cheers for that. And on episode 3, we had the Loadout Shop and Mike from Residual Current put in some VDE hand tools over. We got 2 kits to give out there, and that question was set by Rick on episode 3. And on this final episode, we have some fluke voltage indicators that have been sent by Dan from Tools Down, and we're going to have another question on those to see if we can get a few winners. And it references back to inspection and testing again. And if you were to be measuring an earth fault loop impedance on a B6 MCB, and I recorded a measurement of 8.6 ohms, would it comply with the maximum allowable value for ZS? Yes or no? And the first 10 people in the comments will win themselves a voltage indicator. So get on this one quick. This is fastest finger first, and just a simple yes or no, and I'll select the first 10 people who get the comments in there. And as I said in the other videos, we're going to do a YouTube live at the weekend if time allows. It might end up being the early part of next week. We're going to do our best, but you know, we're all busy. I've had a crazy week with the day job. We've been out doing the usual EICRs at the moment, trying to keep on top of paperwork. We've had issues with coronavirus and getting access to places. It's been a bit of a nightmare. I've also done some podcasts for other channels, so you might see me pop up on Skullmore. I took a bit of time out to record with those guys, and Monday Club just gone. I got to speak with my YouTube hero. So you would have, if you're a regular viewer of Monday Club, you would have seen Matthew, my son, speaking with Nick way back when, and you know, Nick's Matthew's YouTube favourite spark, and he was over the moon to speak with him, and I got to speak with mine on Monday Club this week just gone. So you know, watch out for that landing on Monday. I won't say who it was because Sam hasn't released any kind of clips or premiere preview to Monday Club next week, and I don't want to spoil his plans. But you know, I was made up to sit and chat with this person, and you know, I really enjoyed that. So I'm getting to do all these incredible things, and you know, none of it would be happening if it wasn't for the people who've helped raise awareness of Apprentice 1-to-1. And again, just referencing back with all of that, the real heroes to all of this re-employment of apprentices isn't me, it's the employers. And I've said it lots and lots before that it would largely have probably happened anyway. I've just maybe joined the dots for people that otherwise, you know, wouldn't have been talking to each other, often by connecting people on LinkedIn to people on Instagram. It's just been as simple as that. You know, there's been lots of people offering help and support with it right from the very beginning, and you know, I'll always be really grateful for all of that help. And for everyone who has been involved, genuinely thank you. And hopefully as we move back to more normal times, we can perhaps start raising awareness of the benefits of an apprenticeship in general terms, and not just in reaction to people being made redundant because of this awful virus that's been spreading around. You know, that would be something nice to do in the future, because it is my genuine belief that a lot of the industry ills can be solved through apprenticeships. And again, just to reference back to electricians in general, I mean, some people state that the industry is in dire straits and electricians have never been so poorly skilled, and you know, it's all going downhill and fast. All of the electricians who I speak with every day are hard-working, dedicated and committed to their trade and helping other people and just trying to be the best versions of themselves that they can be, and to pass that on to the next generation. And I don't buy into all of that negativity that people consistently spread. Whilst we do have industry issues to solve, and I've spoken about them lots with other people on Apprentice 1-to-1 and other podcasts, I don't think we should focus on that entirely all of the time and completely dismiss the many brilliant people who are in this amazing trade. You know, it's a fantastic industry to work in, and it's full of some incredible people, the majority. in my experience. And it's important for me to keep raising that point and not consistently go down this trade bashing avenue. I just think sometimes if people are so determined to prove to themselves that everything is so wrong, perhaps they're not in the right trade themselves, you know, because I don't buy that. I think we should all be kind of trying to help each other to do the best that we can. And the electricians that are out there working day in, day out do an incredible job, and they have always and continue to be great. That's my thoughts on that. And again, just to quickly reference that none of Apprentice's one-to-ones activities are paid or sponsored. It's all completely independent, just me putting my hand in my pocket to keep it going, aside from the donations of equipment that we pass straight on to apprentices, be that from manufacturers, as we've had through the course of this week, just generously giving away their stuff to pass on to apprentices. And I should say none of them have asked for this to be made public. They haven't told me that we would have to cover it on any podcast or YouTube videos, which, you know, is fair enough because I don't have a big platform to advertise any of it on anyway. They were quite happy for me to just pass this off in the background, but, you know, I don't like picking people out, and it seemed like a nice thing to do through National Apprenticeship Week, where usually you will have skills and trade competitions. I thought if we could make that something of a virtual challenge that people can enjoy and win something nice, then why not? And again, to all the individuals who are donating loads of hand tools and test equipment, you're all, you know, really taken my breath away in the last few weeks. I wasn't expecting it to happen in the way that it has. We've given some incredible equipment away to people, and as long as that is something people want to do, I'm happy to make that happen with Apprentice one-to-one. And I know that the apprentices are very grateful for the opportunity to enter into the competitions to win some of these things, and equally just receive them away from social media to help them with their learning and studies. So yeah, thank you. And I've really enjoyed chatting away on these podcasts through the course of the week, as much as it's been a bit of a task with the editing and trying to think of stuff to say when you're, you know, squeezing so many recordings into so little time. I've really enjoyed it. You know, I found a hobby and passion that I am excited to do now with YouTube. It's not in an attempt to be famous or anything like that. It's just something that I like doing, and even if just one or two people find it helpful, then that's also a bonus. But yeah, I hope you all had a brilliant National Apprenticeship Week. If you do have any questions or need any help, get in touch on Instagram, Apprentice One-to-One, or through LinkedIn. Just contact myself or Electrician 24/7 on Twitter, and you can message me in the comments on YouTube, and I'll try and read through and get back to everybody. And yeah, just thank you for all the support. Well done to the winners, who are going to hopefully be announced in a YouTube live at the weekend. Depends how organised we can be, because I've got to read through all these comments. There's been lots of people entering already, which is great, and it's only Tuesday today I'm recording this. So yeah, hopefully lots of you get your entries in between now and the weekend, and we have a big pool of people to choose some winners from. So yeah, have a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.